Silas Croft wasn't a man who broke rules. He was a man who created new ones. That rigidity wasn't forged in the chill of the Atlantic or the grime of the harbor, but in the echoing halls of temporary military housing. He was the oldest of 6, a human wall built to absorb the chaos of 4 younger brothers and a sister. His parents were 2 strip-tight Air Force careerists who valued promptness over personality and duty above all else. They moved the family every 2 years like a military asset on permanent loan, teaching Silas to pack his life into a duffel bag and leave behind any soft attachments. He learned to be quiet, efficient, and observant, less a boy, more a shadow moving through standardized bases across the globe. The skills of a killer were first practiced in service to his family. When his father was deployed or his mother worked a double shift on the base, it was Silas who was the acting commander. He navigated the logistics of feeding a small army, brokering peace among siblings, and fixing anything broken with a military issue level of calm. But the Air Force discipline taught him to control the surface, not the soul. The structure held him until the age of 16, when the rupture came not a bomb, but a quiet, insidious betrayal tied to one of his father's deployments. He discovered that all the rules his parents lived by, all the order they enforced, were built on a lie that destroyed their family. In that moment, Silas learned the most vital lesson of his adult life. Order is only a disguise, kept the discipline, but he weaponized it. The moment he left home, he didn't run from the rules. He simply started following the code of the freelance assassin. 28 days of service to order the tugboat, and 28 days of service to carry out the mission. The salt air in Savannah, Georgia was thick and greasy, smelling of diesel and old coffee. At 22, Silas had the shoulders of a man 10 years older, and the eyes of someone who'd seen too many official lies filed neatly under classified. He wasn't a mate yet. He was just another dock dog working the boneyard, the place where cargo containers went to die or be resurrected for a quick buck. His hands were scarred maps of his penance. He was using the grueling 16-hour shifts to fund his real education, the one he was paying for in cash, not college credits. Every 800-pound spool of wire rope he wrestled, every 50-gallon drum of rust inhibitor he hauled was a down payment. The straight money was clean, and that was the point. The honest wages of a laborer provided the perfect, boring explanation for his existence. The training wasn't held in a clean, quiet gym. It was conducted in forgotten industrial corners, the cavernous, echoing boiler rooms of decommissioned freighters or dusty, abandoned Coast Guard bunkers near the shipping channel. His instructor was a man named Gus, a scarred former Army Ranger who now ran a private security firm code for freelance muscle. Gus didn't care about Silas's moral compass, only his military corps and his capacity for pain. Your father's Air Force taught you to wait for the order, see, Gus barked one night, forcing Silas to reassemble a disassembled rifle blindfolded, the clicking of the parts echoing in the dark. My lesson is simple. You are the order. You decide when, you decide where, and you sure as hell decide how. Silas excelled. The Air Force discipline had made him meticulous. The childhood of managing 5 siblings had given him endless patience. He learned how to triage violence, how to use the least amount of force for the maximum effect. He learned surveillance, infiltration, and the lethal practicality of a slipknot, a lesson he would later adapt from his experience with mooring lines. It was while working an overnight watch, inspecting the hull welds on a massive barge, that Silas found his ultimate cover. A squat, powerful vessel named the Ironclad eased into the berth, smelling cleaner than the barges, carrying a crew that looked tired but professional. Silas watched a mate, a burly, indifferent man in his 50s, expertly catch a mooring line. The job required structure, isolation, skill, and rigid adherence to a timetable, the 28 days on, 28 days off rotation that governed their lives. He realized his true protection wasn't the skills he was paying for. It was a schedule. 28 days of absolute, verifiable cover, followed by 28 days of total, untraceable freedom. The ocean was the ultimate alibi. No cell service, no witnesses, just the relentless, honest work of moving the world's goods. Silas didn't see a life on a tugboat. He saw the perfect bunker. He quit the boneyard the next day and started his relentless pursuit of the Maritime license. His goal now clear, mate on the ironclad. The day he achieved that, his double life would officially begin.